Toronto Maple Leafs have given multiple major updates ahead of the Christmas break. We're going to break down exactly what those updates are as we have updates on the injured Tanev, and most importantly, we have an update from Craig Berube on Auston Matthews. We're going to break down that and discuss what this means going forward, as well as a few other key things. But before we get into that, Merry Christmas, everybody who celebrates out there. Happy holidays. Thank you guys again for your support. Hopefully you're enjoying the day, and we still had a video for you all today. Don't worry. So in between opening the gifts and all that, you get to have some new Leafs updates for you guys. Coming off a couple of brutal losses before the holidays. But Darius, the Leafs are now off for a few days. They obviously play on Friday. They have some time, have a chance now to get some rest. Desperately needed rest. We have Auston Matthews. We have Chris Tanev injured. Anthony Solars. All these different guys. We have a bunch of reports going on. But again, happy holidays and Merry Christmas to all of you. And thank you guys for your support this year here, and we're not going to stop into 2025. But Berube regarding Chris Tanev and Darius, we obviously had our live stream a couple days ago surrounding Tanev's injury because we were doing a watch along here. It was random and it was pretty abrupt, Chris Tanev's injury, and he had little to add to his lower body injury status except to say it happened in the Islander game as opposed to wear and tear, which is not ideal. We thought that they were maybe just going to give him, a rest day on Monday against the Jets before the Christmas break to give him some, really a week-long holiday versus 3 or 4 days. It's not the case. He actually re-aggravated something, which is a little bit concerning here. And you can see from David Alter, he's a great defenseman, obviously blocks a lot of pucks. So anytime you're missing one of your guys, it hurts. We saw his effect his lack of effect, I guess, because he wasn't there against the Jets on Monday. Before we dive into the Auston Matthews and some of the other things, Darius, I just want to get your thoughts on this because it kind of came out of nowhere, like most injuries have for the Toronto Maple Leafs this season.
Yeah, this is a tough one for the Toronto Maple Leafs because I thought, heading into the game, hearing that he was scratched and that he would be a game time decision, I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's, dealing with something and they might give him the day off. It's right before Christmas, give him an extended break so he can come back because he has been eating a lot of pucks, right? Like this season, leading the league or up there in block shots in the league. So obviously he's doing that. We felt him missing in that game against the Winnipeg Jets because obviously the Jets get a couple power play goals. And I'm not saying that, he's not the goalie. You can't play goalie, but he blocks a lot of shots. So Chris Tanev has been fantastic, and the Leafs will miss him if this is a long-term thing. Hopefully not. They don't seem to be panicking around it or anything. It seems like he should be back in pretty short order, maybe later this week. They play Friday, Saturday again. Should be interesting matchups again against Detroit and the Washington Capitals. But hopefully he's back soon. But again, that was a little worrisome for me because I was like, okay, maybe it's just something he's been dealing with and they're just going to give him an extended break. But the fact that they came out and said that it's something that did happen in that game against the Islanders, hopefully it's nothing that keeps him out long term because, again, you could see it against the Winnipeg Jets. They need a guy like this. He's played in every game this season up until this point, and he makes such a huge difference. You could see it from the start of the season, just the way he plays. He blocks shots, moving the puck, his transitional play through the neutral zone or from the defensive zone to the neutral zone is fantastic. So hopefully he's not gone long term.
Yeah, especially with the struggles that Jake McCabe has had as of late. Losing, Chris Tanev has hurt the team a little bit over the specifically the game against the Winnipeg Jets where they got curb stomped a little bit. But you can see this here again. He blocks a ton of pucks. This was from Joseph Wall. But at the same time, I think we have a lot of depth, and I trust our team to step up. After the game, head coach Berube did not provide many details and have been during the 6-3 loss. And I'm sure Joseph Wall is one of the guys who wants Chris Tanev back the most because Wall's been struggling lately. Had a pretty, I wouldn't say a rough game. He didn't have a great game against the Winnipeg Jets by any means. And the team is, they're laboring a little bit right now, which is why, realistically, this Christmas break came at a perfect time for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. You get Auston Matthews, hopefully, back, which we can dive into now. So the Maple Leafs and Auston Matthews seem to have a clear understanding of his current condition with no concerns about hidden issues or any mystery surrounding other injuries. The team is confident that they know what he's dealing with and that they believe it's an ongoing, believe that with the ongoing treatment, his healthiest stretch of the season is still ahead, not behind him. So this is from Chris Johnson, pretty notable guy here. That being said, I know what you're all thinking. I'm kind of the same way. I don't really trust anything that anyone says regarding injuries surrounding the Toronto Maple Leafs anymore because we heard a similar thing to this back when he got injured the first time, then head to Germany, wherever it was, and it was Germany. And then now you're looking at it and it's like, this is a positive sign. But Darius, are you convinced that this is going to be a short-term thing? Because he did come out and regarding his injury again, he's going to rest over the break here and hope he comes back in a lot better shape. We also have one more update, but I just want to get your thoughts on this first. A pretty important update, I would say. But it's we know how this works.
Yeah, they're going to take the Christmas break here and reevaluate him on either Thursday or Friday. see how he's feeling, and he might come back to join the team. But again, it's something that was re-aggravated. I think that's a bad sign personally, and I like to stay optimistic. And I think that they need Auston Matthews. There's people that tend to believe that this team doesn't need Auston Matthews at all, and I think that's a bit ridiculous because he's a great player, one of the best in the league, and his 200-foot game has certainly improved over the last couple seasons as well. So I think he's putting more attention to detail with that. But nonetheless, hopefully he's back soon. But hopefully he's back at 100% or close to 100%. I don't want this player playing at 60%, 50%, just getting into games just because he can. He's feeling okay, and then going after the Four Nations face-off as well, right? Like that's something that's been a topic of conversation too. So he's got to come back and he's got to be feeling good. It's not just something we're just plugging back into games because he's feeling good enough. Make sure he's back up to speed and it's not hurting him anymore. So it's going to be interesting. They'll reevaluate it later this week. Again, they're giving him the Christmas break to just hang out. He doesn't have to skate, nothing, just, relax and try and recover. And we'll see where he's at on Friday. But I think that not only do they need this player, you know, I think that a lot of this information has been weird this year with the injuries, right? Like we went over it, like the day-to-day thing turns into week to week, turns into month to month. Same with Anthony Stolar, same with Jake McCabe, for example. So has been weird. Chris Johnson could be getting his information from the teams themselves, right? So maybe that's what they want out there. So keep that in mind too. That obviously it sounds like it's good news, but hopefully it stays good news. But I'm being cautiously optimistic with the way that the messaging has been so far this year and then what's actually happened following that. So hopefully he's back this weekend.
Yeah, I'm not going to be super optimistic about this report, but I do think he's going to come back soon. Again, Craig Berube basically came out and said they're hoping he plays Friday, but still up in the air at this point. And I want to dive into this a little bit here. You can see from Jesse Blake, the blender is out here at the Leafs lines for this afternoon, obviously referring to the Winnipeg Jets game. And I want to bring this up because you look at how the team is looking like right now. Now, most of the team is healthy at this point, aside from a couple guys in the foregroup, Auston Matthews being the most notable one. But Darius, they're really changing things up. I mean, we saw times where David Camp was on the second line on Saturday, and then you have David Camp now moved down to the third line. They had to mix up that third line that was working so well because of Auston Matthews' injury here. And with how you're looking at, of course, the forward group go, and then you look at the defensive group, and Jake McCabe struggling a little bit here. They had Philip Myers on the top pairing alongside Riley yesterday, and Riley's been quietly struggling a little bit this season, especially defensively. You start to look at it and you're saying, I mean, they need to get healthy. I still think this team on paper without Auston Matthews is good enough to win the majority of their games, but it's going to be really tough to beat teams like the Winnipeg Jets, who are the best team in the NHL right now, when you're laboring like this, and you really want to take secure advantage of that number one spot and the number one seed in the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, definitely. And he got the blender out yesterday. Obviously, there was a lot made out of David Camp playing second line center the other night. Yesterday, he's third line center. The defense pairings too, like Jake McCabe has been struggling. I like that pairing of McCabe and Tanev. Obviously, Tanev has been injured, and we'll see where that stands. But I have liked that pairing. Jake McCabe, again, over the last couple of games, struggling a little bit. I think there's something to be said about the first pairing, though, with Morgan Riley and how they're trusting him with a lot of these guys, like Philip Meyer to come in. Obviously, Hakanpää, when he did play earlier in the season, the 3 games he was playing majority with Morgan Riley. So I think there is something to say about how much they trust Morgan Riley and how many different defense partners Morgan Riley has to play with. And he continues to get it done to a degree. Again, he's not having his best season ever, but he's still putting in a pretty good season, I think, especially defensively, and the Leafs are putting more of an emphasis on defense and not allowing as many goals, and it's been working. Their goaltending has a lot to do with that as well, but it has been working. So again, they need to get healthy. Nothing's perfect. Over the course of a season, you're going to see injuries, but hopefully they get as close to healthy as possible because, the months are flying by here. And, once you get into February after the Four Nations Cup, I mean, it is go time, and really trying to see what the lineup looks like and where guys stand heading into the playoffs. And again, as you can see here, the point leaders heading into the Christmas break, I feel like they need to bridge the gap as best as possible. It's been pretty crazy. And Auston Matthews down there in 4th place, even though he is injured, which is pretty impressive still. But I still think, the depth, they need to play, get the bad habits out of their game is what I'm trying to say from the last couple of years. They need to still iron that out.
Yeah, and shout out to Mitch Marner for holding it down, him and Willie, obviously, and Tavares as well. So as they head into this Christmas break, they're coming up on a critical time for this season and the Toronto Maple Leafs. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know below what your thoughts are on this, what your thoughts are on all the injury updates, and your concern level surrounding Auston Matthews following these new updates. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas again to all of you. Thank you guys for watching. See you tomorrow.